Welcome to another exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host, and for tonight's review, as I'm recording this tonight, we are stepping back into filmmaker and master suspense himself, Alfred Hitchcock, as we take a look at one of the earlier movies. You probably already know what this is. This stars Anthony Perkins, Vera Miles, John Galvin, co-star Martin Balsam, John McIan, with Janet Leigh as Marion Kane. 1960s Psycho. Yep, we're taking a look at 1960 Psycho. I'm watching the 100th anniversary release. Now, this actually is not a Universal movie. This started life as a Paramount movie. Paramount movie. So, the back of the DVD, it says a Universal release, but this movie is a Paramount movie. It doesn't say anything on the back, but released by Paramount and not Universal. So, I can tell you right now, this is a masterpiece. This is a great movie. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, my previous Hitchcock film I covered was 1972's Frenzy, which was my first movie of this year. But I wanted to cover Psycho, but I wanted to wait until Halloween to cover this because I thought it'd be perfect. So, now I got away. Let's talk about Psycho. So, Psycho focused on... Well, the film starts with a really cool credit scene. Not pre-credits, but the credits at the beginning is really cool. So now the credits is over. It tells you where it's at, the time, and location. So Marion Kane, I think it's Marion Kane. I'm kind of Marion Kane. So Marion Kane is this woman. So it starts out with him with the... Not him, I'm sorry, her. It starts out with her boyfriend. And basically she's on the road. She's hitting the road and she decides her car gets... She stops at a gas station and she's driving. She is driving and all of a sudden she stops by this mysterious hotel known as... This mysterious motel known as the Bates Motel. Enter Norman Bates, played by the fantastic Anthony Perkins. So Norman Bates is kind of like this young man. He owns Bates Motel and he lets her in to stay. So he lets her in to stay for a couple days. So he lets her stay and then basically... She's enjoying, she's relaxing, she's really like the hotel. Then all of a sudden she's getting ready to take a bath, getting ready to basically say goodnight, and it would actually be her last night because I'm going to talk about the shower scene, the iconic shower scene in a bit. So she's getting ready, she has a robe on, she's getting ready to head in the shower to get cleaned up and get ready for the next day. Enter this person with this knife, and all of a sudden, we don't know this mysterious person. So she kills Marion in the shower and just stabs her, gets stabbed repeatedly. So this mysterious figure that we don't know that's lurking in the shadows. So it turns out that after she dies, and no spoiler, she dies in it. So Norman Bates comes down and checks up and see what happens, and he's freaking out like that. And then all of a sudden, he's trying to pull her out of the shower, so she doesn't know what to do, and realize she has blood on his hands, literally blood on his hands. He's looking like that, saying, "I think I just murdered someone." So he goes and puts the body in the trunk of a car, drives down to a swamp and lets the car slide in there, sinking in the swamp like quicksand. Cut to Janet Leigh's sister, played by Vera Miles. I think it's Vera Miles. I'm butchering names. Vera Miles. So Vera Miles and John Gavin are the two people trying to figure it out. So they call up Martin Balsam, who plays another cop, and he's like private investigator. So he heads down to Bates Motel to get answers from Norman Bates. So he's questioning Norman Bates. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and he's trying to keep it hidden. So he doesn't, basically, essentially, he's in hot water right now. He is literally in hot water. He does not know what he does. It's like, private investigator, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, I know. I'm just going to lie. So the man lies. Norman Bates lies to the cop, and he's trying to figure it out what's going on. Then he goes into the motel and figure out what's going on, and all of a sudden we get this mysterious figure again who has this knife, and, no spoiler, kills Martin Balsam's character like that. Really, really hard. So he gets killed with the knife. So now they have to try to find clues. I'm sure everybody knows how this is going to end, but I think I mentioned most of that. So they're trying to find clues, and we don't know what's going on. And yeah, that's the sum up of what I think of Psycho. Let's talk about why I love Psycho. Okay, there are things I love about Psycho. One, shot in black and white. That's good. They kept it black and white to keep it more authentic, and I did watch this movie in the dark, and watching black and white movies, especially these spooky movies in the dark, really does give it that atmospheric, and I loved it in the dark. I said again, Psycho is so good. Though I'm not a fan of the artwork to this, I just find the artwork, I don't know. It almost reminds me of the Castlevania It almost reminds me of the Castlevania Sympathy of the Night cover. Like, it's just a motel. I mean, why? I mean, it would have been nice. I mean, if you look at the back, look at that. Look at the back. That's how you do artwork. You could have had that, or, since this is a 100th anniversary, you could have had some kind of poster art in there. Nope. We're going to slap Bates Motel and call it a day. So, that I don't like the re-release cover. So I'm not a fan of that. I'm sure there's other releases that have better artwork, but for me, it didn't work. But this is actually what I think. The movie is just, I know I'm getting off topic, but the movie is so good. Turns out, there might be some spoilers, but I'm sure everybody's probably seen this movie, so there might be a few spoilers in the movie. I don't know if I'm going to spoil it, but I'm going to try my best not to spoil it. So, basically now, like I said, we don't know. Turns out the mysterious person, and they eventually do find the mysterious person who's doing all this. And basically, and I'm going to have to get one nitpick. The ending's kind of a little weak until we get to where we see Norman Bates. And we get this eerie scene. I'm not going to tell how it ends, but we get this like eerie scene of Norman Bates where he's sitting there like this, and that black and white really makes it chilling. I mean, much like the ending to Frenzy, it's before the whole... I don't want to compare it to an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but it's the sort of what the twist kind of ending. Like, okay, if you watch my review of Frenzy, you'll know that the ending of Frenzy was like, wow. It was like, wow. Psycho has similar ending to Frenzy, but I feel... I'm not narking the ending. I really like the movie. I really love the movie. It is a masterpiece from start to finish. The acting is so good. Even though my only complaint is that Marion Kane doesn't stay on for long. That was my only complaint. I thought she would stay on a little bit longer. She only again for about 2 minutes of the movie. But this, I forgot to mention, this is also based on a novel by Robert Bloch. I forgot to mention because I'm going to try to go off topic, but Frenzy was also based on a book called Piccadilly Fields, Goodbye Leicester Square. That was what Frenzy was turned into. This is based off of a Robert Bloch book, but I'm kind of getting off topic though. If you want to know more about that review, go watch that review. But this is I'm speechless. That ending though is so good. The movie I love. I'm sure everybody's probably know this, but I love black and white movies. They really give it a whole new way of watching film. And this is also part of film history. I love diving into these older movies I've never heard of. And that's what makes it fun, and that's why I do this series, because I want to dive into film history. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but I'm just going to get out of the way. Psycho is a masterpiece from start to finish. The casting wise, the acting. I also forgot to mention Alfred Hitchcock's daughter, Pat Hitchcock, appears in this film. So Hitch's daughter is in this movie, and it is one of the greatest movies ever made. I'm not going to read what the movie's about, but this was also listed number one on the AFI's 100 Years, 100 Thrills list. And this movie is, I want to say this got registered in the Library Congress of Film. I think that's what it's called. I want to say that got registered, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know what to say about it. It's just that good, and no wonder why they call the man the master of suspense. And I do believe Hitchcock, or Hitch, however you want to say, is starting to become my new favorite director in classic films. I own another movie from Hitch that I will get to eventually. It might not be this year, but next, which is Rear Window. I do have that movie, and I will get around to watching it very soon. But it probably will be next year. So stay tuned on the channel. I'm definitely going to cover that one soon. But I think I already mentioned this, but I'm sure everybody's seen this movie. It's a classic. I seen part of this as a kid, and the only thing I remember seeing as a kid is where Miriam's driving. She's driving on the highway, and that's about it, though. The cast, like I said, incredible. Didn't want to give away the ending, but it's so good. So, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about Psycho. So, yeah, you probably already know what I'm going to rate this, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to give Psycho an automatic 5 out of 5. I cannot lower it down to that, guys. It's a masterpiece. It's the master of suspense himself, Alfred Hitchcock, or Hitch. And Hitch knocked out of the park. He just nailed it. He took what would be one of the scariest movies, based on probably the scariest novel by author Robert Bloch, and took that and made it into a feature film for 1960. That is incredible. That is an incredible feat of accomplishment for a movie that was released and made in 1960. Wow. I mean, much like the summer blockbusters like the Jaws or the Halloweens, this is a movie that inspired this is the precursor to the slasher genre. It took a genre that was inspired by this and ran with it. So you had, like I said, you had your Michael Myers, you had your Jaws, and you had your Freddys, and you had your Jasons. But this is a movie that inspired all of that. It's not just a slasher. It feels like a slasher film, but it's more or less a psychological thriller. It's very chilling. That black and white in the dark, watching the movie in black and white with all the lights turned off, made this movie even much better than what it is. Like I said, please watch Psycho. If you've been living under a rock, do yourself a favor, get a copy of this, whatever format you can find it. Whether it's digital, if you're still watching VHS, get a copy. If you have the DVD, get a copy. Blu-ray, 4K, whatever you watch this, do yourself a favor, or download from uTorrent or LimeWire. Download off those websites. You need to see Psycho. I don't even know what else to say. I'm not lying, guys. This movie is great. I'm tempted to put this, this might go on my best list. I don't know yet, but you'll have to wait until the end of the year for me to decide if this is going to go on the best of lists or not. Might be on the list, might be in honorable mentions, but whatever it is, please see Psycho. So good. So I'm going to stop there, guys. So yeah, that's a review of Psycho. Thank you guys so much for watching. I forgot to mention, the other movie I did cover on the channel was Bates Motel. Oh, and before, again, I say that, I also have the sequels to Psycho. I have 2, 3, and 4. And I did cover Bates Motel. We'll see where the sequels go from now. I'll save them for next year. But like I said, that's the review. And thank you again, guys, so much for watching. If you do like the content on the channel, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, click the bell, ring the bell so you get all my notifications on what I do, what I review on the channel. I have tons of reviews. I'm on Letterboxd, guys. You guys can check me out there. So, yeah, and go watch Psycho, guys. And yeah, and as always, keep watching those Universal movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.